Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes podcast. I'm Bert Lepore. He's Sammy of Monte Carlo. We're hanging here with Angry Mike D, and we talk about music, movies, and so much more. What's up, Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes? We got the Flying Circus in the house today, and yeah, we're going to talk Led Zeppelin, man. So we're going to rank Led Zeppelin's 8 studio albums and see what you think. So the way we're going to work it is we're going to go in around. So I'm going to go by what I can see on my computer. So I'm going to go to Mutt first, Angry Mike D second, Scott last, and then me. And Damo's not here right now, but he might pop on later on. So the way we work this is that we pretty much get the album, we rank them from 1 to 8, and then we average them out. So you never know what you're going to get, you know, for number 1. So yeah. So let's introduce these guys first. The Flying Circus. Scott Fredericks, drummer. I know him for a pretty long time. He's been in original bands, cover bands. Scott's been on the scene for a good amount of years, and yeah, definitely a veteran of the scene. So Scott, who else is in the band?
Oh, we got Mutt Norton, who's with us right there. He's our vocalist. And we have Mike Margiotta, guitar player Mike. And we got Donnie Rocket on bass.
Nice.
And slash keyboards.
Oh, Donnie plays keyboards too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. When we let him.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I've seen some clips. You know, I never seen these guys live yet, but I did see some clips on YouTube, and they're put together well. I mean, the promo stuff looks great. The promo stuff looks great. And, you know, me and Mike were talking. Of course, there's a couple of Zeppelin tribute bands out, and they're all pretty decent. And the one thing that was a little different with you guys is you kind of create the vibe. Mike mentioned last night, Mike's like, you know what? They got the vibe. Yeah. You know, definitely the vibe was there.
It's funny because a lot of the guys are out there that are playing out, and I always hear like, the vocalist sounds whiny, or, you know, the drummer doesn't quite make it, or this guy or that guy. And we were putting our nose to the grindstone for like 5 years, is it, Mutt? Playing
about 6.
Yeah, playing everywhere we possibly can, and building a following, doing it kind of opposite of the way you should be doing it, I guess, because now we're trying to break away from the smaller venues and play the larger, you know, theaters and etc. You know, that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way to go.
Yeah, we thought we'd build a following first and really work the songs.
Yeah, like we had Steve on a couple times, Desco, and you know, Desco, man, he packs them in, and you know,
absolutely.
So he plays some fucking kick-ass venues, and you guys, your next show is the Landis next show? The
Landis, yeah, Landis,
beautiful, man.
Next Friday.
Yeah, I never played the Landis. I heard it's beautiful though.
Oh man, let me tell you, Ray Mamrick has a really good hold on that place, man. He really does a nice job down there. They got it put together really well.
Yeah, Damo said he was there a couple of times. He said it's really nice, and Steve praised it. Steve said it's great. You know, he said it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, he's got a lot of great bands coming in too, man. A lot of great bands.
Nice.
Striper is going to be down there, and Kicks.
They're bringing some nationals in.
Oh yeah. Oh,
nice.
Riots there. Friday night? This Friday night?
Yeah,
this Saturday night. Yeah,
I might have to look into that. See
what original date.
Oh yeah, Bert. Go online, man. Look it up. landistheater.com. They got a lot of great acts coming in, man. Vixen's going to be there.
Is this the first time you guys are playing it?
Coming up. Oh yes, yeah, first
cool.
time.
Cool. Very, very cool.
We were actually we were trying to work a deal down there, and it was going south for the longest time. And I just felt like we were getting walls put up around us, and nobody was letting us, you know, come down and play at their venues. And the funny thing was Ray, the owner down there, he just said, "Hey, you want to play the Landis?" And I was like, "Hey, yeah, man,
Yeah.
definitely."
Well,
So we met up and we talked a while, and you know, here we are. And hopefully, I know we got a good amount of people there now, and I know there's going to be a good amount of people at the door. So it should be a great night and a lot of fun.
yeah, man. I mean, it's like one of those things that when you play these clubs, it's like sometimes it's hard to get paid. It's like, we want to get paid, especially these guys are doing the tribute stuff. It's like you want to get paid, man. And even with the original stuff, when somebody would hit me with, well, how many people could you bring? And my answer is always, how many people do your club bring? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because if it's packed, am I getting a piece of that bar if it's packed? You know what I mean? So it works
Hey
two
Bert,
ways.
you remember going way back, man. We used to just play for whoever walked in the door.
Yeah, we didn't care. We didn't care back then.
Exactly.
Now we're old.
And
We need
now
to get paid.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
now it's like with this. I mean, I'm used to going into a bar and saying, okay, this is my guarantee. This is what I want, with the Zeppelin thing.
Yeah.
And now we're in a different territory now where we're playing for ticket sales. So it's kind of like the old
days.
original thing all over again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird. It's really
It is
strange.
weird.
Yeah, when you have to sell tickets, man, it's fucking tough, because especially when you're younger, it's a lot easier because you have friends, they're not married, they don't have kids, they don't have to get a babysitter.
Exactly.
Sometimes people coming out, a $15 ticket winds up being $150 night out. It's
Absolutely.
even for us guys that all play,
And I'm sure that people are like, oh my God, here comes Bert again. Run away. He's going to try to sell us tickets. Get out of here.
Right.
What band is it now? What band is it now?
Here comes again.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's bad, man. I mean, I've been advertising on Facebook. I've been pushing like all the groups, and Facebook locked me out. They locked me out for like 24 hours and said, "No, man, you've been doing it too much. You can't go down and to local drugstore, local the mall, and put flyers on people's windshields anymore. It's not
You
like
remember
that."
that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. We used
That
to
was the
litter
best.
the freaking parking lot.
Used to go to
with
the
them,
concerts and put out, we used to go to concerts, you dress up back with the way you would back then and give out the fucking flyers. It was awesome.
Dude, I remember back in the 80s when I was running the Jackie Bam Bam, putting his flyers out there on the same cars. And I'm like, I'm taking his flyers out and putting mine
Yeah,
in.
yeah, the old rivalry.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff,
Scott,
man.
Scott, you said back in the 80s. What were you in your 40s then? Your mid 40s?
90s.
Scott's a
See how this is? I get this abused all the time. Always.
Unless the keyboard player's here, he usually gets it the worst. Just keyboard player.
However, I'm in the back and I got good aim.
That's right. You get to see everybody. You got a good seat.
I could launch great drumsticks. Oops, slipped.
Yep. I got a question for Mutt. So, Mutt, have you done any original bands, or was it always cover?
No original stuff. Just my original stuff, my own, putting stuff together. But not. Oh no, I guess so. Poison Angel and Intruder. They were something that was back in the quote day. Bonnies and stuff like that. We did that kind of thing. But that went basically nowhere.
Well, it's like 99.9% of this. You know what I mean? It's like that's just the way it is. But so then you did the original thing for a while, and then you decided to do the cover and tribute thing. Now, have you done any other cover and tribute bands before the Led Zeppelin one?
Actually,
you're in DVS. Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of those guys.
I was in that for like 10 years with
Jimmy Alessi.
Yep.
Kevin, right?
Yep.
Kevin was in that, right?
Kevin was in it. Jesus, everybody was in that band.
How about Teddy? Teddy was in that band at one time, right?
Teddy, I filled in after Teddy is when I joined. Teddy wasn't feeling well, and that's when I joined at that time. But my reign was for 10 years. It went on forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think we probably played a gig back in the Cherrywood together when I was in Stop the World. It was Stop the World, DVS, and somebody else. So we probably crossed paths a couple times.
Memory's not too good though. A lot of times I'm always amazed how I got home. So
I missed that place. Yeah, good time.
Oh, yeah.
The Cherrywood was a good place.
From what I remember, I missed that place too.
Yeah. So yeah, so there was a lot of guys in and out of DVS. There was
Yeah.
yeah. And you
Yeah.
guys did a reunion, or you were going to do a reunion, right? At one
We
point.
did something. We did some. We had a show actually booked, and but we called the whole quits thing. So what wound up happening is like right after we're like, goodbye everybody, thanks for shopping Kmart, close the lights and everything. We wound up doing a show like, I don't know, like 6 months later or 7 months later. So it was kind of like what the hell are these guys doing? But we did disband, and we did do something after the COVID thing outside somewhere, down south-ish Jersey. I forget the name of it. That was the last thing we did, but that was like a year and a half ago we did that.
Cool.
So it's pretty much run its course though,
Yeah,
I can't do the Bon Jovi anymore. That shot in the heart. I just want to,
Yep. And Scott, I actually, me and Scott only got to jam one time. That's it, one time. And it was, I don't know, I did a cover band for about 3 weeks. That was about it. And I filled in with these guys one time, and Scott came up and played a song, and I was like, thank God Scott came up to play the song, because it sounded all of a sudden it sounded way better, So we played like a Cheap Trick song or something like that, which is crazy, but it was pretty damn cool. And it was the only time I got to play with Scott, so it was cool though. I totally remember it, man.
You keep hiring all these other guys, you know what I mean? that Monte Carlo guy, that's you keep hiring him.
He's a lot of trouble, that little guy. The ambassador.
Yeah, he is.
Trouble. Yeah,
He's a great guy.
He's the best. He's the best, man. That's why I love playing in a band with him. He's one of, and I know him for 30 something years. He used to follow one of my first bands around, like before he started playing. So it was pretty cool. But
as he was a youngin', huh?
Oh yeah, dude, it's funny. If you ask Damien, he could
many moons ago.
He could sing you melody lines that I did like 30 years ago. It's insane. I'm like, how do you remember them songs? I don't remember them songs.
We make fun of it now, but we went to your shows and we sung your songs.
That's fucking pathetic.
Yeah, but we were kids and we were drunk.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it would be like like you said, for all of us back in the day, we would rent like a school, and all of our bus bands, I'm sure did. We rent a school bus. Everybody's drinking; they're not old enough to drink.
Oh.
Pack the school bus in and go to what was that club? G. Willikers. Remember that club? Fucking G. Willikers.
Yep.
Crazy. Yeah, it's some crazy time.
I remember we were on a bus with Mikey going up with the prima donnas up to Lemore's.
Nice.
And we played up there. We opened up for LA Guns.
Oh, sweet.
That was a trip, man. I mean, we loaded a bus up with people, and it was great, but crazy.
Yeah.
Real
You've
crazy.
done the prima donnas. You've done Crank. You were in Crank too at one time, right? Yeah.
Not the drug.
You've done Crank.
Not the drug.
Yeah. The band Crank, which was signed to. Were they signed to Megaforce or Metal Blade?
They were signed to Metal Blade.
Metal Blade. Yep.
Yeah,
And Kevin was another guy that was in that band.
Yep.
Crazy, man. Crazy.
My bud. He
man.
actually his drummer Tommy was in the band before I got in it. It was they were just transforming to a cover band at the time, and Tommy's mother fell ill with some health problems, and he had to quit the band. And Tommy's playing with Kevin now in Land of Oz.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we had Tommy on a couple weeks ago. Yeah, I can't pronounce his last name. I can't pronounce Tommy's last name. So we'll just call him Tommy.
Staszewski.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Or whatever Desco calls him. Desco calls him something totally different.
Oh, does he really?
Oh, God
Great.
only knows. He comes up with a name like that big when he says it. I enjoy that guy. He makes me laugh. He really does.
Oh, he's really good too, man.
He's great. He really pulls it off. And speaking of that, like I said, we listened to some clips of the Flying Circus, man, yesterday. And I heard these guys on passing on Facebook, but because these guys were coming in, I really zoned in yesterday. And I was like, okay, let's go through all these different clips. And it sounds great, but the ambiance, fucking total ambiance. We watched one in a little club, and we're like, wow, it looks great. Even your guitar player, man, he's got the Jimi Hendrix fucking getup, which is awesome.
The Page.
Jimmy Page. Yeah,
Jimi Hendrix. Jesus Christ. Yeah, sorry about that, Jimmy Page. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
But yeah, like, dude, does he
Yeah.
design it stuff, himself, or did you get somebody else to do that for him?
Could you
Actually,
imagine him sitting there doing that? No.
who we were going to have originally was Ronnie Cafield.
Oh, no shit, from
was-
Wasted, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he had his foot in the door with Get the Let Out. He helped start Get the Let Out.
Wow.
And he bought the costume, the dragon suit. And I gave him a call. I said, "Hey, Ron, would you like to start up another Zeppelin tribute?" And Ronnie rolled his eyes. It was like, oh, not another one, because I guess he's done like 4 or 5 since Get the Let Out.
Right.
And he said, "Nah, I'm not interested." But he goes, "If you find a guy, I got a dragon suit for sale on eBay for $400."
Crazy.
So I found a guy and I called Ronnie up. I said, "Ronnie, I'm interested in that suit." I said, "You said it on the eBay. It was $400." He goes, "Dude, listen." And he said, "Don't tell anybody, but you're a friend of mine." He goes, "I'll sell it to you for $100."
Oh shit.
So I called up Mike and I said, "Dude, get your ass over there and give this guy $100. You need that outfit." So, I mean,
Great.
you got to figure $100 for that outfit. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
you know me, Bert. I went overboard. I bought the Kiss costumes for
Yes,
my
you
Kiss
did.
band.
Yep.
They were like $2,400 a
Yep.
piece.
You look
know
good
what I
too,
mean?
man. You guys pulled that off too.
Oh,
He's wearing the
thanks.
stereo. It looked great.
Yeah.
It looked great.
Oh, it was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
A lot of work, but a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so I told him, I said, for $100, hell, you can't beat it.
Oh yeah, it's a fucking investment. Shit.
Yeah.
And worst comes to
Yeah.
worst, if nothing pans out, you still got the outfit. The outfit's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll beat it out of them.
If stuff goes south, be like, "Listen, Mike, I want to put it on my wall. I'll give you $50. I think I'll go for it."
I'll make
go
a
for
deal
it.
that you can't refuse.
Yeah. Listen, Mutt's going to buy the pants for 25. I'm going to buy the jacket for the other 25.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, we can't cut money out of the deal. Fuck.
No, it'd be like, "Look, I'm not paying for nothing. How would you like to get out of my house alive?"
That's
You know?
right. That's your ticket out.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So
No, but Mike's a great guy. He's going to hang around for quite a while,
Good.
so
good. So there's 4 guys, right? So it's Mutt singing.
that's it.
You're playing drums.
Yep.
We got
Yep.
Danny Rocket on bass and keys.
Donnie Rocket. Yep.
Donnie.
And Mike, how you say Mike's last name?
Margiata,
Mike Margiata on guitar.
On
Yeah,
guitar.
pretty awesome, man. Pretty awesome.
our guitar Mike.
Guitar
AKA.
Mike.
Guitar Mike.
And he's been around the scene for a while also.
He's been around for a little while. I don't remember him back in the 80s, but he said he's been around for a while. So
He's Pennsylvania to us.
Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. Oh.
hey, it's like I always said to you guys, every time I played in Philadelphia and all, I said to Mikey and everybody else, there's a bridge and there's another little island across that bridge. It's called New Jersey.
Yeah.
So we could play some clubs over there too,
Yeah. Yep.
Nobody even knows, it's like, "Oh no, I'm not going over the bridge." That's crazy.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
It was unbelievable.
So we're gonna get into this countdown here, and we're gonna do it from 8 backwards to number 1, and we're gonna start off. I'll mention the record, and then we're all gonna talk a little bit about what we like, and maybe if there's something you don't like, you can throw the shit out there. Whatever you guys want to do, we're talking about it. So coming in at number 8 is going to be Presence. Mutt, what you got on Presence?
At that time when that came out, I don't know. I heard it. I had it. I didn't get into it. I just didn't get into it. I think that was my 7th pick. I think for this. I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't have the oomph that I don't know that I was used to.
Yeah. I think you put that last. That was your last.
Was it last?
That was
I
your
thought
last pick.
Coda or one. Oh no, Coda was 7th. Yeah.
Well, we actually skipped out Coda here. We just did the studio stuff because Coda was kind of thrown together. So that bumped it up. So that's why I eliminate Coda, and this wound up being last instead of 7. But Mike D, what do you got on Presence?
It's funny because I really never listened to a lot of these Led Zeppelin albums through. And I remember when I was a kid, I had about 4 Zeppelin CDs, and I just wanted after that. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to buy the box set, and that covers most of it. So going through this was a little bit different. Like, so I never really heard a lot of or at least half the collection, you know, all the way through. This, I don't know. It had a few good songs on it, but it almost felt like it was just dialed in almost on a lot of it. It just, you know, I think they were going through like band problems anyway. But, you know, Achilles' Last Stand was a good track, a little bit too long. Probably for me, the highlight off there might be For Your Life.
Mm-hmm.
Or even maybe even Nobody's Fault But Mine, which is a great track.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Scott,
they're the three.
They're the three songs. Yeah, they're the three songs. Yep. Scott, you put this actually a little higher than everybody else.
Yeah, well, you know, for licks with bottom on that kit, playing that stuff, it was different than the rest of the albums. You know, For Your Life, obviously, there's a lot of triplets with the bass drum, and you know, it was like a notch up, and it was a different album. We had Tony was our first guitar player from Deadly Blessing.
Oh, cool.
And he told me, he goes, no, they didn't. That wasn't one of the Zeppelin albums. That wasn't a true Zeppelin album. And I'm like, how can you say that, man? Just being a Zeppelin fan.
Yeah.
If you're a Zeppelin fan, you know, that's an album, and it's just different. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for Bonham people that love John Bonham, it's essential. It's an essential album because he had some really cool hooks in there, man. Really cool stuff.
Yeah. So from a drummer point of view, it was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
For me, you know, Presence was definitely last on my list. I don't think it's a bad record. It's just a little too jammy for me. You know, it's hard to keep my interest after so many minutes, unless it's like, you know, which is, you know, like an Iron Maiden song or something like that. It depends, you know. But there was a lot of cool jammy parts. But yeah, it's with a lot of the Zeppelin stuff, it's like the songs that are great, and the ones that aren't not so great aren't that great. It's either, there's no in between for me. It's either like it's fucking great or it's kind of that jammy thing. But they come from the blues thing and all that stuff, so I get it, you know, I totally get it. But it falls, you know, late on my list. All right, guys, moving on to number 7. We're gonna start with Mutt. In Through the Outdoor. What you got, Mutt?
Oh, not much on that one. You know, I started off like the songs never matched anything like the lyrics, you know, so trying to figure out which song was what and what was on what album was all like kind of a mystery to me. Now, Into the Outdoor, there is something on that we do that I was surprised that we do. Scott, what the hell we do off that album?
Hot Dog.
There's another one
in the
there.
evening. Hot Dog in the evening.
And it had All My Love was on that one.
Yeah.
You know, the In the Evening song, I swear it was on something else when I was growing up, we'll say. But that's the reason for that album for me. That song, I love that song.
Is that like a Mandela effect? Like,
yeah, right. It's just that it seemed like it was on something else before, you know, next to the subway, that the lettering was in blue, you know.
Yeah. Oh man. So Damo shows up. What's up, Damo?
What's up?
Sorry,
I'm
much. You didn't
what's up,
much.
Dame?
fashionably late.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There
Guy
he
gets
is.
a band, puts his
What's
name
going
on it,
on?
and shows up whenever he wants. This guy.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, Dame. So
At
we're
least
talking.
it's a drummer this time.
Yeah.
yeah.
Deservingly well, because guess what? The drummers get the worst end of it, really. I mean, us is, I don't know if much like me, because I don't know if Mutt plays anything. I don't want to say we just show up.
I play everything.
Oh, you do? There you
He
go.
plays everything.
I just show up.
Yeah. Give me it, I'll play it.
Nice.
I think me and Scott are in the minority where we actually have a brain.
I'm going to say this though.
We're drummers with a functioning brain.
But Bert shows up and he's the singer, and he shows up with the biggest bag probably.
Yeah.
What's in that bag of yours?
All kinds of
Dude, he shows up. He's got
Is
like
there-
a,
how many-
like a
how many extra-
suitcase.
Yeah.
He does. Like
I think he's got extra pair of underwear in there.
Everything. I bring another set of clothes. You
for
never know.
rehearsal, I
Brush.
come in. When we rehearse, I come in with my cymbal bag because they have everything else there. But Bert, he's got like he comes in rolling in with a suitcase, another bag of some other stuff.
He
Hey,
still brings
that's
that
a-
crimping iron with him.
Yeah, you
That's
takes
a-
it all the
He's
time.
got no hair, but he brings that crimping iron with him.
Wait a minute, that's a singer thing. Mutt does the same thing. What's going on with
I
that?
got my
Really?
For
swag.
the VA, he got it. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
good stuff.
he's got a suitcase too. He rolls down the steps. I was like, what are you
I
doing?
do.
Here we go. We
I
got
thought he
See?
was moving in.
See,
You never know, man.
you can fit a lot of shit in there and it rolls. So it's yeah, I'm with you. I'm with. See, we're on the same level, me and Mutt. That's good.
That's
That's
funny.
good.
You know what though? I got a cord for a guitar amp in there because guitarists always forget their fucking chords. I have a dampening pedal for the keyboard in there. So I had a drum key in there, but
Nice.
Scott he's got one. I always had like other shit because there was always people always kind of like forgetting
Yeah.
shit all the time.
Or the best
That's
was
good.
the guitar player. Oh, I need a battery. What the fuck? You know what I mean? I like
Kinda-
that one too. That happens every once in a while. I need a
Yeah.
battery.
Oh, you know what? It's always power cords. So at work, I just, they ditch the computers every so often. So I steal the power cords.
There you
I'm
go.
like,
You
hey, I
you
got
always
about-
yeah.
Yeah,
always
yeah, I
get
got,
rid of them
about, I got
shit.
about 40 of them. So if you guys ever need some,
We know where to go.
good
So
to hang up.
so Damo, we number 8, presents came in number 8. We're on number 7. And Mutt gave us our view, well, our views, his view on In Through the Outdoor. So I'm gonna go you next, Dame. In Through the Outdoor, what you got?
In Through the Outdoor. That was the last studio record, right?
No, Presence
believe.
was the last studio record.
Presence was the last one.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, you got
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
Fool-
In Through the Outdoor chronologically was the last studio album for
Oh, was
Zeppelin.
it? Okay.
that's
Yeah, I
what
didn't
that's
know
what I
that, yeah.
thought. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Presence was like 4 or 5.
Wow.
Right.
We
Yeah,
go
5.
nerd drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Fucking
yeah, this is the
jumpers.
one where yeah, I was kind of interested like where they would go after this, like more like keyboard direction, that a lot of bands were experimenting with at the time. But
Well, this was 79, so shit was changing.
yeah,
you know?
right, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean the you got Fool in the Rain's a great tune.
Kind of reminds you of that that Pina Colada song.
I could see that. Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
little vibe
same
to
vibe,
it almost.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my love it. Hot dog I liked.
Hot dog.
But yeah, it's kind of cool to see where you kind of imagine like where they were heading at this point, which I guess we could always use your imagination, unfortunately. But
Yep.
yeah, it was going through this list. I mean, like every album is great, and Zeppelin was one of the few bands where you could really think of as actually like almost like a super group in a sense. Like if you were going to
Oh yeah.
make your own super group, you could pick Zeppelin because every guy was just like a god at their.
Yeah. They were a
That's very
prototype
interesting.
for a lot of the bands that came after. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I got on this one.
Mike D, what you got on In Through the Outdoor?
It's weird because I think I like this better than I thought I did. And I think I ranked this actually 6. But I like some of the little more obscure tunes, probably like, Southbound Suarez, Carousel Alhambra. And then you had I'm Gonna Crawl in there, which was kind of cool. I thought this was actually pretty good, this album.
Yep. Scott?
Well, I
Getting
think
down.
this was John Paul Jones at the helm.
Yeah.
Right.
This was his album, him and Robert Plant, because at the time, Jimmy was kind of checking out with heroin, and John Bonham really didn't want to leave his family, so being on the road was a drag for him. So he wound up drinking a lot, and the two of them wouldn't be in the studio when John Paul Jones and Robert Plant were laying tracks. They would come in at night and play tracks here and there. So at this point in their career, the band was pretty much divided, and John Paul Jones really didn't have any help. I mean, him and Robert Plant were doing it all on their own. It was like, so I think it's a great album. It's another veer off of the main road, but I think John Paul Jones did a hell of an album. Yeah.
Geez, thanks for the downer, Scott.
Listen to
Thanks for the
Carousel
downer,
Opera.
man.
It's crazy.
Mhm.
Man, drummer,
Say
bringing us all down, freaking drummers.
Getting all technical and shit.
Yeah, yeah.
I said that
Then they
too.
didn't
Bert.
have any ham sandwiches to eat for 3 weeks. and-
never ends. The debauchery
Yeah,
never ends.
he's such an easy target. I can't help it.
See, I call myself the soccer mom because these three, they're like my kids.
You got to keep
know,
them in
I go
line.
We go on break and I have to chase them around. Where the hell are they? You know what I mean?
Those rascals.
Yeah.
He's got those what are the little the dog leashes for the 3 of us when we go out. One goes running
Zap
off.
'em.
Bring up
Oh man. In Through the Outdoor, I think it's a real good record. It actually was pretty hot for me. Fool in the Rain, I really like that song. Hot Dog, I like. All My Love's a fucking great song. The one thing I respect and like about Led Zeppelin, and a lot of bands that were in the 70s used to do this, and we've talked about this a billion times on the show, so I'm probably repeating myself, but they went for different shit. You didn't have to have, a song that sounds like immigrant song. You could have had a country song. It didn't matter. It was all just creativity and anything goes, no boundaries. You had a blues song, you had a heavy metal song, you had a hard rock song. Fuck, you know what I mean? I like that there was no boundaries, and I wish everything would go back to that, where it's not so cookie cutter and bands take chances and don't get shit on for it. You know what I mean? It's listen, we all play music, we all write music. It's creativity. If you write the same thing over and over again, who cares? Where do you go? You're stuck in your bubble, I'm not a big fan of Bon Jovi's new shit, but can he write Living on a Prayer 1,000 times? Who the fuck wants to hear it at that point? You got to move on.
Yeah.
You got to move on. We got to remember, when somebody goes, even like if it's a sports team or something, somebody will go, oh, back in my day. That's because it's nostalgia for us. So we might listen to the crap that's out now and be like, oh, that's no good. But you got to remember, if we were that young kid, we're looking at it totally differently. We're all stuck in our nostalgia thing at one point, where sometimes stuff we think is better than what it was, but that's because we're growing up. We got our memories and all that stuff. It's tied to it. Your first concert, your first whatever the fuck, what I mean? So it's one of those things, but a band's got to evolve. You got to evolve. Otherwise, it's the same thing. I mean, listen, AC/DC could kind of get away with it. Slayer could get away with it.
Scott, you went through your Ethel Merman phase there for a while, didn't you?
Oh, boy.
That was killer. Good shit. Love
He
me
is-
well.
He is. a
He
big
loves a
Merman
parade.
fan.
He loves a parade.
He does.
I
Sorry.
got to put up with this every day. You
Ethel Merman, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Now he's
used to
settling for
dress
Neil
like him.
Sedaka, one of those guys,
Yeah.
Or who's the guy that Gene Simmons matched for a little bit? Engelbert Humperdinck.
Humperdinck. Yeah. Wrote
Great
some
name.
good songs.
Great
Oh,
name.
man.
Great name. A lot of them got, even like
Great
Neil
name.
Diamond, man. Neil Diamond, if you would ask me back in the day if I like Neil Diamond, I'd be like, oh, no, Neil Diamond's old man music. Now it's like, wow, that fucker wrote a lot of good songs,
He was,
I'm sick of hearing.
Powerful voice.
Yeah.
He was a big songwriter, wrote for a lot of different people.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Mike, you just said Sweet Caroline. Yeah, that's because it's played out. All the other shit he wrote, even the Monkeys tunes and all that shit, it's fucking
Mhm.
brilliant.
Uh-oh. Whoa, don't get into the monkeys now.
Wait. Hold
Don't-
on.
Got a big
Don't get him
Monkees guy.
started.
There you go.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm
shit.
in.
My wife's a big Monkeys
Right down
fan, too.
there.
Wow, how about that,
He
Scott?
likes-
I didn't even see it.
See, we
How about
went
that?
there.
He
We
likes
went
the
there.
monkeys more than he likes the Beatles. I'm
Wow.
blown. I don't even know how to.
Well, you know
approach that
why?
one.
It's because everybody
No, I
jammed
don't
them
know
down
why.
my throat when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was just like, I want the alternative. I want the monkeys,
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, dear.
They're
I
like the
was like
Beatles,
that with
but
a lot of
funnier. Yeah. But same thing,
His
could be
fool's
nostalgia.
grandfather.
You grew up probably watching the show when you were a little kid.
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
that all sticks with
He
you.
was in his
man.
40s then when that was out.
Here we go.
Like I remember me and my wife will talk about, like, you know, when we were little, we're like, oh, Ultraman. I put an episode of Ultraman on. It's fucking hard to watch now. I'm like, I used to
It is.
love
It
this.
is.
I'm like, man, it's
It really
fucking hard
is.
to watch.
Yeah, some
Yeah,
stuff
it's
doesn't
just
age
like
well.
I said before, go try and watch Sesame Street. I mean, you watched
Yeah.
that as a kid, but I don't think you can watch that now.
It's hard now. It's hard.
I watch it.
Mutt's in. He don't care. He's in.
I like Snuffleupagus.
There you go. Here you go.
Yes, he was great stuff.
Oh man. All right, guys. So we're
One.
that
Oh,
was
never
my
mind, sorry.
favorite. The Count was my favorite. He was
The
definitely
Count.
my favorite.
Two pilgrims.
There's a video on it on YouTube. You can find it. It's the Count doing his song, and every time he says "I love the Count," they bleep it like he's saying "I want to fuck."
There you go. That's good stuff.
It's great.
That's good stuff. Okay, guys, coming in at number 6, House of the Holy. We're gonna start with Mutt. What you got, Mutt?
Oh Christ, I don't know. What's on that album? I don't have it in front of me.
Dance of
But-
All
Days,
Remains the
House of
Same.
Holy.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff on there, ain't there?
yeah.
The
No
Ocean's
Quarter.
on there. That's
The
probably one
Ocean's
of my
on there.
favorites on there.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorites on there. That's one of my favorites because, be honest with you, because I can kind of sound like him on that one, so I kind of like that one the most. Even back in the day, when I like a million years ago, you know how you sing in your head, but then you like I don't know. I always see things in my head, and that's what makes it I don't know legit, but that was one of the songs that I loved on that album so much was the Ocean, was the whole story even of it.
It's a great song. That's a great song.
Yeah.
Damo, what you got?
Yeah, I had this ranked pretty high just for the one song, The Crunge.
It's a great song.
But overall,
Oh.
man, yeah, I love every tune on the record. The song remains the same is great. And I actually love the album cover too. The album cover is pretty,
Awesome album cover.
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Awesome album cover. Mike D.
I think I had this ranked this 7. Not one of my favorite ones. It was weird because I think the first half of the album for me was but then the last 4 songs on there is what really made it. Especially for me, No Quarter was like the standout track on this.
That's
Scott?
on there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
on there.
Quarters
No
on
Quarters
there.
on there. Yep. Yep.
I forget where I had this on the list. I'm afraid to touch anything on my phone because I don't want the picture to go away. To look up my list. So
Mutt, you had it at 5. So you had middle.
all right.
You had the middle.
Yeah. That's probably about right because yeah.
Scott.
This was my
Quarter.
second favorite. I mean,
Ooh.
listen, I'm a drummer, but my favorite Zeppelin song, the Rain song.
Good song. It's a good song.
You can't beat it. I mean, the orchestration in that song is just unbelievable. Three
Yeah.
keyboard parts, 2 guitar parts. It's just 4 guys actually got together and played that friggin' song, came up with that, and it's unbelievable. It's got to be the best Zeppelin song, technically.
It's a bitch to do live.
I can
Oh, you guys
imagine.
do that one. Nice.
Yeah,
It's
we
tough.
just really brought that into the pen. And once you play The Song Remains the Same, everyone expects the Rain song. Because
Yeah.
it just goes right into it. And even me, it was just like, yeah, we kind of but it took a while. Donnie, God bless him. It took a little bit, but once it sank, it was just like, boom, okay, here we go. And it's nice to kick back and hear that. And when there's a good PA in some of these gigs that we play, you can hear that low end. It just like Scott was saying, the arrangement, the song, it really is it's a work of art, that particular song.
Yep.
The arrangements.
Definitely. For me, House of the Holy album cover is beautiful. A lot of good songs, man. The Crunch, Dancing Days. I mean, this whole album's pretty damn good. It's funny because I probably heard the other version before I heard this version. So when I hear Dire Mocker, or how you say Dire Maker, Dire Mocker, is that how you say it?
It's Dire Maker.
Dire Maker.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Jamaica.
Jamaica.
When I hear that song, I always sing in my head "The Tide Is High" from Blondie, even though this came out first. That's the first thing that pops in my mind is the Blondie song. But it's
Oh, yeah.
crazy. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Next one we got up here, Led Zeppelin 4. What you got, Mutt?
I'm trying to look up the freaking songs on the album right now, and it's not working to my advantage here. But 4 has wait. Is this Immigrant on that one? No, what's that?
No,
one?
you
Immigrant's on
got
3.
Black Dog, Rock and Roll.
It's the big one. It was
Battle
probably the
for
Rock
big
and
one.
Roll. No, this is.
Stairway to Heaven.
Oh Lord. Just recently, Stairway to Heaven. I've never, every Zeppelin song I like. There isn't really something that even the ones that are like people. It's like it's still got a place. You know what I mean? The song still has a place. But let me see. 4. You said Black Dog's on there, huh?
Black Dog's on there. Stairway, Rock and Roll, Going to California.
It's funny.
Misty Mountain.
Black Dog. I always have a brain fart when it comes to Black Dog. The lyrics.
Yeah.
I know they're pretty simple, straightforward, but right before I have to sing, I mean, that's when the words come to me. I'm like kind of an innocent bystander before that. Just kind of standing there, like what's this guy going to say? I guess the reason for Black Dog is the reason for me of that whole album. Back, originally that was I needed to get that song. I had to have the album. I had to get that song. That was the point of getting that album. It was that feeling of like, all right, these guys are amazing. Because like my first album, I had a Beach Boys and a Beatles album. My dad used to listen to the Kingston Trio. That was tough. But like that's when I found Zeppelin and that drum set showed up in my basement. I started off as a drummer. When the drum set showed up in the basement, I was playing Beatles and stuff, and I started playing Bonham. Even before Neil Peart, I was starting to play, and Black Dog was like, oh, that was what I had to learn to play that on the drums. And I came out. So great album.
Yep. Demo.
Yeah, this is their I figured this has to be their biggest album, and I looked it up, and it is. It was 37 million records, man. It's crazy. Worldwide.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's got their signature song, Stairway to Heaven, which everyone says they're sick of. I'm actually sick of Rock and Roll, but it's still a great tune. And Black Dog is just like a great riff and drum song. I mean, every one of the Zeppelin songs are great drum songs, but Black Dog has just got like a cool groove riff, and Going to California is cool. I love it like that. Levee Breaks. I mean, just top to bottom, just classic, great album.
Yep. Mike D.
Yeah, I should have ranked this higher, but I'm just like I'm sick of this album. Like just the whole thing. I think this is just like it might have been my first Zeppelin album, but on top of that, it was like I had so many friends, and this was the album that just got beat into you.
Yeah.
So it was just like I'm tired of it. I don't hate it, but it's like Stairway to Heaven. I don't need to hear again. I'm not a fan of the Misty Mountain Hop or Four Sticks. Really, the only one I really kind of like hearing is probably When the Levee Breaks at this point. So yeah, but everything else I'm just like sick of.
Yeah. Scott.
A lot of great songs on this album, but again, yeah, like Mike said, it's just not, I mean, overplayed. Radio airplay too much.
Radio.
My favorite song probably on there is Four Sticks.
Wow,
so,
that's like the odd one on there. Yeah.
That's the first song we played as the band, as the circus.
Really?
Sticks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great tune.
Yeah.
Great tune. But
silly
like
bionic eyes.
I think it's just been overdone. I mean, it's like every tribute band I'm in, there's always that one song that you're like, oh no, not again.
Yeah, and you have to play it, right? You kind of have to.
Piano Man.
Yeah, Piano Man.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you have to play it,
Well, it's like Rock and Roll All Night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a huge Kiss fan. I don't need to ever hear that again. But you see a tribute band, they're going to play it. It's just it has to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. This is their biggest album, and I was surprised it ranked where it ranked even for me, because I love probably 90% of this record, but the other stuff, listen, when we get into this part of the countdown, it's interchangeable. There's so much good shit, you know, it's tough.
Yeah.
But like rock and roll, I'm just not a fan of that. It's a great tune, but I'm not a fan of that sound. Anything that kind of has that sound, I kind of go, ugh, it reminds you of just old shit. But
I know
but it's
you
cool.
mean, yeah, like that's, yeah.
Anything that's got that bing 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 bing, like, you know, like we talk all the time with the Beatles,
Chuck
fucking
Berry rock.
oh, the
you
Chuck
don't
Berry
like.
shit. Yeah, what was that song from the Beatles? Back in the USSR. I don't really need to fucking hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oof.
mean? I don't really need to hear it.
It's like,
Favorite album, and that's my least favorite Beatles song.
yeah, it's well, just yeah, just that bing 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 shit fucking drives me nuts.
Bing,
If I'm in a
bing.
club and the jam band's playing it, I'm cool with it. But as far as putting it on the record player, the stereo, no, I don't need to hear it.
I
Definitely don't need
always
to
say
hear
that
it.
I always say if I wanted to hear Chuck Berry, I'd put a Chuck Berry album on, you know?
You're right. Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
like the
man.
Beatles became really cool when they started dropping acid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know,
absolutely.
Mhm.
They were good at what they did, and then once what, maybe Rubber Soul, when that came out, that was like,
Yeah.
what the hell's going on? Total
Oh, all
different
the
band.
psychedelic stuff is killer.
It's the best stuff.
Yep.
Definitely the best stuff. Because the other stuff before that was kind of like, it was done before. They weren't the originators of that other sound that they had, you know. When they bumped it
No.
up, it was like, what the fuck is this shit, you know? Yeah, so
Chemically enhanced.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so
I think musicians should be like prescribed psychedelics sometimes. You know, like they should be allowed to take them. Like
I'd be scared.
you get stopped by a cop, you got mushrooms. Like I got my musician card. That's cool,
Well,
bro, buddy.
they should,
you know,
they should just give a whole like cases of it to Guitar Center. Comes free with every guitar and drum set you purchase.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not talking about like
And
crack or
microphone
heroin or
and
anything like that.
you know, guitar picks. I hear some acid.
Yeah.
Microphone. Here's some acid.
That's a
Pair of
PCP
drumsticks
here.
here. Take this.
There's a lot of great players that were on it. A lot of great players, innovative players, very innovative. All right, guys. So moving on to number 4 is Led Zeppelin 3. What do you got, Mutt?
Give me some songs on that thing.
Immigrant Song. Thank you.
Okay.
Out on the Tiles.
Friends, celebration
Friends.
day.
That's the way.
So it's like we play pretty much 3/4 of this album, don't we, Scott?
Yeah, we play a good amount of this album.
Yeah. So this one's ranked up pretty high with me, just because just a lot of familiar songs. There's songs that everybody knows, there's songs that everybody got to play when you go out and do them. There was one thing with DBS. I felt like some of the Bon Jovi, I was singing more than Bon Jovi ever sang the song. You know, it was just like, oh my God. But the same with this. But one thing about Zeppelin, I haven't gotten tired of singing the song yet, because it took a little bit to actually get like in the mental mode to sing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like I was doing the mannerisms all the time. I just didn't really realize it in Devious, but once it all came together, it was just like, and in this song, there's a lot of stories in this song that you can relate with, that the people can relate with, you know, and this is 3.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
it's Led Zeppelin 3 ranked at 4.
Okay. So this is a lot of acoustic on this album
Yes.
as well.
Yep.
So this was, I think this was my second choice for best, because of the acoustic. I like that switch, even though Going to California was on the other one. I still, this was that first album of like a lot of acoustic. I really like that a lot.
Yep. Damo?
Yeah, I actually had this one a little bit lower, but I mean, when you're talking about bands like this, just because you have it low on your list doesn't mean it's bad. I mean,
Right.
they're all, like I said, they're all great, but
It's hard to rank them.
yeah,
is.
At this point,
you
yeah.
could, you
It
could
is.
put
This
them
is like,
depending on what day it is. I mean, they could be anywhere, but I remember when I was a kid, my parents had this on vinyl, you know, the original record, and on the side had like a little spinning wheel thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the artwork kind of changed a little bit. I always thought that was pretty cool. But
Scott had this on 78. He's that old. Sorry, good. Continue.
Yeah, two of my favorite songs are on this. You know, Immigrant Song. I know it's probably a little played out, but it's just badass riff, and I love the groove. And actually, Out in the Tiles I like a lot. Probably my second favorite Zeppelin tune. So, but yeah, I mean, like Mutt said, there's a lot of cool acoustic stuff on there too. Gallows Paul, I thought was
Great song. Yeah.
another good one.
Like D.
Yeah, this is a great. This is where it gets kind of tough because it's like all interchangeable at this point, for me at least. But yeah, and as much as I like the Immigrant Song, it's not my favorite to listen to. The production on it sounds a little like off from the rest of it. I don't know, but it sounds a little bit better on the box set. But
Like remastered.
probably my favorite one on this one might be either Friends or maybe even Celebration Day. On the Tiles, I wasn't a big fan of. Hats Off the Harbor was kind of rough.
Yeah, it was just thrown in there, you know. It was one of those deals. Scott.
Yeah, it's funny. It's hats off to Roy Harper. That's probably one of the only songs that none of the tribute bands do. By Zeppelin, you know. That and probably Black Countryside because it's got that Indian
Guitar.
sound on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think it's a great album. Again, they deferred. They went off of the path. With some of the songs, not all of them. Friends is kind of we were learning Friends, and it's got a little bit of a timing change in there, and really interesting song. Going to California, Immigrant Song, great stuff. You can't go wrong. It's Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, pick a day that you put an album on, and that's the album for today.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Covers all genres.
Yeah.
Does, yeah.
I love the Immigrant Song, but it's definitely the sore thumb compared to the rest of the record as far as sounding different. It's the one song that's totally different than the rest of the record.
Yeah.
I didn't rank this number one for me, but I thought this was going to be number one because I always love this record. That's the Way is probably my second favorite Zeppelin song ever. I just think the lyrics is just so good. Yeah, that's a really good song. Immigrant Song is great. Gallows Pole's a great song. The album cover's kooky. I like that it's fucking wacky. It's good stuff. It definitely ranks high for me. I like this album real lot. All right, guys, we're moving on to number 3, Led Zeppelin 2. What you got, Mutt?
Hit me. What's on there?
That's great. Wait a minute. This is good stuff.
The Brown Bomber album.
Yeah.
A Lot of Love.
Whole Lot of Love,
What
the
Is
Lemon
and What
Song,
Should Not Be.
Heartbreaker.
Thank You.
Yep. Live and Love and
Mm.
Made. A lot of hits on this one.
Ramble On.
Yeah, there is a lot of hits. It starts getting like there's so many songs. It doesn't really matter what album it is. It's just kind of like there's so many that I like. That's why I don't really know what is on an album because it's like you just put them on and you just play them. It's not like one. It also though the time's gone by. Back in the beginning, a year seemed like a year, where a year now seems like boom, done, gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
ain't
really.
kidding,
Boom, done,
man.
gone again. So they all kind of all those songs, all those albums for me right now are kind of grouped together. And because truthfully, when I heard these songs, I was a drummer. I was playing the drums. I didn't know what the hell Robert Plant was singing about. And tell you what, a lot of freaking times still don't know what the hell he's talking about. He's got this one thing. He's like, we were down in Georgia, and it's 1933, and we were playing a song, and he's like, wait a minute, 1933. How the frick old were you? In 1933?
Yeah.
You were
He's
in
making
Georgia
shit up.
writing a song. It's just like
He's a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, well, you were like 7,
Yeah, he should have
Yeah,
said,
back in
born-
33.
he said in 1933 when somebody else wrote this song.
Yeah, but this way it goes. He really just mumbles through, and it's just like it's not an Ozzy mumble, but it's like there. But he's just telling the story, and I'm like, did he just say he was in Memphis in '33?
Motherfucker hasn't been out of London ever.
Yeah, well, he's been sitting here the whole time. I've seen him. He's only 9. That album, there's a lot on it, but again, they're just starting to kind of meld as one big, time period of songs. So it's kind of hard to kind of say on this particular album something sticking out. They're all great songs on this album, I mean, except for not this album. The last one. The Harper thing. So I don't really have. I love every song on this album. From this point on, it's hard to find a song that sucks.
Yep. Demo.
Yeah, another song, another album with just classic riffs, especially like Heartbreaker, Moby Dick.
You
That's
said
a
so.
great one.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, a whole lot of love. Live and Love and Made. That's actually a riff that just bugs me.
I like that riff.
It always reminds me of like some like there was a commercial years ago. I remember when I was a kid, and it might have been this riff, like a rip off of it.
Right.
But yeah, I think my favorite track on the record is Ramble On. I really like that one.
Great song.
And man, for like 69 they recorded and released this, man, it's way ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable to even think that they did this. God, man, 3 years ago. It's crazy.
Yep, absolutely. Mike D.
Yeah, I mean, great album. It's like I said, this point's interchangeable, but I think for me, the standout tracks on this is What Is and What Should Never Be, and Ramble On. I love those two.
Yep. Scott, what you got?
Yeah, very last track, Bring It On Home. I mean,
Nice.
great album. Great album. We do every song on this album. Of course, including Moby Dick.
Oh
but-
yeah. You got it.
But
I had my own effect.
this album also ties home because the cover, the band is standing with they're superimposed with the World War I German flying aces that were also known as the Flying Circus.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons I saw the imagery in it. The other original guitarist came up with the idea for the name. And I saw Monty Python. I saw the influence of Monty Python. I saw the influence of the Red Baron. It was like just for the imagery, for making flyers, and that's my little world and making stuff. I just saw that it was all this imagery that we could use, to make it more confusing, obviously.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that at first. I'm like, where did they get that from? Monty Python?
Yeah. It's
It comes from an album, or it comes from the 1975 bootleg
Live, right?
recording.
It was a bootleg, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's most of the diehards know it, but your normal straight folk, they don't know what the hell it is, and I can't blame them because I didn't know what the
I
hell
was
it
going to ask.
Yeah.
It's just a bootleg recording that was made, and it was because the way it was mixed. It was one of the warmest board recordings at that time, and the guy, which if I forget his name, is a big mixer producer. He mixed it down, and they were saying how he mixed it just had the right sound. And truthfully, I've heard, you can get on YouTube, you can hear a portion of it, but put headphones on, obviously, and take a listen to it. It doesn't sound anything spectacular, but if you put yourself back in time, it's like, oh, okay, now you kind of can hear, if you listen to other concerts, like a Fleetwood Mac at that time or something like that, that's that time period when it was a big band and getting recorded with big equipment. It really stood out. It had a lot more warmth to it. And truthfully, I really think it was just because of the mix down, actually.
Yeah.
I said to Bert, I'm like, do they break out in like the Ministry of Silly Walks, like in between the songs?
We want that.
The funny thing is also with the Monty Python thing, Zeppelin has a tie with Monty Python. Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and George Harrison funded the Holy Grail movie.
Really?
Yep, I heard
didn't know
that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I think there's that more
big
nerd
fans.
drummer shit.
There he goes.
I think
know,
George
I got-
Harrison had something to do with The Life of Brian also.
Yeah.
Wow.
They funded those movies. I mean, they're big fans.
How
Why
can you
not?
crazy.
They're funny as hell,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Great
so
stuff.
crazy. Yeah, I didn't know that at all. For me, Zeppelin 2 was my number one. And I was surprised it was my number one. It was my number one. A Whole Lot of Love, Lemon Song, Heartbreaker, Ramble On, Bring It On Home. Thank you. I mean, Live and Love and Made. I mean, Moby Dick. I mean, it's ridiculous. The record's ridiculous. I didn't know about the album cover until you told me. I never knew that. That's pretty wild. Yeah, great record. And actually, I got that. I got an old copy of it, on vinyl, and I played it not too long ago, and it still sounds great. It's like that stuff. I love hearing that stuff on vinyl. It's just so cool. All right, guys, we're gonna move on to the next one.
I recreated that album cover for us. Like I put us on it, put the
Really?
faces in there, changed the people up, and
Sweet.
for copyright. Yeah, it worked out pretty good. Except I put Scott in the wrong spot, I think, though. But still, stuck him on the end. I alienated him to the end.
I alienated.
Always.
That's funny.
Like the Bugs Bunny foot, he
Push him
pushes him out of the
aside.
way. Let me take a whack at it.
That's it. I'm leaving.
Steve,
I'm back.
Steve that I used to play with, I'm still real good friends with him. It's funny because he's a drummer, and he'd be like, "Listen, when the solo part comes up and I'm doing a little drum thing, get your fat ass out of the way so they could see me." That's what he would say. He's like, "Just move, dance on the side, do something." He's like, "Get your ass out of the way." I was like, it makes when you look at it on video, whatever, it makes total sense, So I'm like, yeah, he's got a point.
I get out of the way, but I instigate heavily from the sidelines.
Oh yeah,
There you go.
always.
It's the best
We
thing to
play
do.
cards. If the guitar player starts playing a solo, we play cards.
There you go. That's it. It's good. That's good
They're
They're
stuff.
imaginary cards,
cards,
but we
but-
play.
Well, dude,
Yeah.
that is the worst thing as a singer, because I'm not a dancer guy. I mean, I do some bad moves, but I'm not a dancer guy.
Dude,
So it's
You're
like,
not a dancer guy. What are you talking about?
yeah, I don't mean to be. It's my mistake. Trust me.
Come on.
It's like you don't know what
You
to
got
do.
all great moves.
Yeah.
They don't
You
call
know
you
what to
Twinkle
do,
Toe
man.
the Poor for nothing.
Yeah, Jesus. Twinkle toes. But like when the solo comes up and you kind of move on the side, you get your glass of water or whatever, or beer, whatever the fuck you're doing, and it's like, all right, for like a minute now, what do I do with myself? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
what do you do?
Yeah, you do. It's funny. I do kind of zone out where like I'm not really paying attention that it's me on stage, and I'll start thinking about how TVs are made. Like I wonder how they get us to
Awesome. You go to a whole different time zone. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, you think that's lag bolted into the wall? You think this place has the proper circular system? I'm like all over the place. So
Just as long as you don't get back on the mic and go, TVs are made in China. Oh, wait.
I can't.
Where did that come from?
Scott knows I don't get to see humans too much. So when I get out in public, it's kind of sometimes a little spooky, and especially when they give me a microphone.
Yeah. I mean,
But I never had a problem until I started really realizing that people were watching me, even though the other guys are doing something. Sometimes you're kind of just watching. When you're in the audience, you're just watching the singer,
yeah.
and even when he's not singing, you're watching that idiot, and you're like,
Yeah.
what he's doing. So yeah, all of a sudden, then I realized, oh shit, and I realized that my left hand, I don't put my thumb into my pocket. I kind of put it right where my belt loop is. So it's kind of in between putting it in my belt loop and not. It's a really weird fucking thing. And I can't stop doing it. And it's like really weird. And my girl keeps looking at me, and every time she looks at me, I know that's what she's doing. She's mocking me. I know she's mocking me the whole time. And now anyone who's watching this comes out and sees me, they're going to see me doing it, and I'm going to be even more paranoid. So this is going to be great from this point on, man.
Awesome. Dude, I always
Yeah,
get
so-
the
I don't know what the hell to do. I move around to a point. I find myself moving like, I don't know, like the 80s moves and shit, like, dancing on the mare, so it's not good.
I always get called fixing myself on stage. And my wife's like, how many times are you going to move it and grab it? How many times? I'm like, I can't help it when you're up. Everything's like, she's like, stop. You're like, her and her friends are like, all right, that's 15 times he grabbed it. Like they're counting. I'm like,
Yeah, because you're getting everybody drunk at the bar. They're like, every time he grabs his nuts over there, they're taking a shot.
I don't know. I always feel like I got to fix when I'm up there. Stuff's going on.
Well, I'm looking pretty good now.
Yeah, well, think next time, maybe next time these guys play, you'll be doing more fixing. You never know. It might be in your head. My words might come through you. Mutt, fix it. Mutt,
That's
fix
just what I need. Fix yourself. You need to dress left, my friend.
Scott's going to be like, stop grabbing your prick. You know what I mean? tough to be a singer. You don't know what to do when nothing's going on. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Idle hands.
I go graze off stage somewhere, go find somewhere to sit and point.
I always just feel stupid at that, but sometimes I just feel I'm like, all right, what do I do? But yeah,
Sometimes you can
season's
get
fun.
into it. I was in a metal band for a while, and I always was occupied between the song just because it was just the power of it, and I still kind of get that with Zeppelin. You do get caught up in it. Again, I don't, kind of feel like a dance like Pee Wee Herman kind of thing. So that doesn't really look that good. But I just, as you said, I was always kind of like moving like Plant anyway. So I just kind of go stand. I look at him, try to mentally abuse him as much as I can, and
Yeah.
basically it. He knows that. I always
He
draw
does.
shit on my thumb and be like, I love you, kind of.
When I go see his guys, I'm gonna start looking for all that little stuff now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there
I
it
put
goes.
French
There it
fries.
goes.
I'll put get a French fry from a fan and stick it on on the rig, like the keyboard, or his floor tom the other night, or on Mike's keyboard or his boards. It's like something to do, because if you're not gonna have fun, what's the point?
Yeah.
I got a
But,
French fry.
This guy
I
down
got a
below,
French-
I do
you
abuse
gave
him
me
quite a bit.
you gave me a French fry the other day.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
what
around
the
the floor
hell's
time.
that? Sitting right
I was
on the
waiting.
floor
I was waiting to see it go like on the floor time. How the drummer, how it like it'll be like boing, and it'll be gone.
It'll bounce around.
It's for effects.
He did, yeah, but he found it.
What
He
an
saw it.
idiot.
I had to take it off.
I got
Thank
something
you.
for the stage show. Yeah, he's like, I got something.
Yeah.
You got to fuck with him. That's the whole point.
Yeah, it's all
Why
about
not?
having fun, man. All right, guys. So moving on to number 2, Led Zeppelin 1. What you got, Mutt?
Fill me in.
That's
What's
great.
on it?
What do we got?
Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Again,
Good times,
well,
bad
at this point, man, it's just kind of like everything
It's
is
record at this
rolling.
point, yeah.
They're on all 8 cylinders. Everybody's, every like at 3, the appreciation for them playing acoustic and changing up. You can start to feel that even in this album. You start to feel that they weren't just a guitar player, a bass player, a drummer, and a singer. Even though singer, he's kind of, but you still have to come up with the theory and the feel, and it all has to meld together, And by this point, these guys were on fire,
Yeah. Damo?
Yeah, I had this ranked number 1. This is the one that started it all. But my favorite track to stand out one for me is Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, man. It's what an
Yes.
epic-
So
what an
much
epic
feeling,
song,
man.
Oh,
Especially
my
like
God.
like the end of it, man. It's just it's a great
He's also
epic
calling dogs
tune.
5 miles away in the high note. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
right.
My nuts are sucked up into my neck trying to get this freaking.
Oh my God.
Dude,
Yeah,
there is so
the,
much feeling in that song. That's
the
one of the greatest songs ever for them guys.
Yeah,
you know?
the vocal performance is phenomenal.
It's one of his best. It's one of his best. Definitely. Like I
Yeah.
always thought, I never thought Plant was technically a great guy, but feeling wise, he was great. Like Michael break my balls all the time. Because I always say when people go, "Oh, Robert Plant," I always say David Coverdale's a better Plant. That's just my opinion.
I don't even like Whitesnake. They're not even like. I don't know. I don't even see it. Doesn't.
Do you know
I
what
see it.
you know what Robert Plant? You know what Robert Plant calls David Coverdale? He calls him David Cover version.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I thought that was funny when I heard that.
Scott, what you got on Led Zeppelin 1?
Oh man, great album. Dazed and Confused, a couple borrowed songs, from old blues guys. Dazed and Confused, You Shook Me. Your Time Is Gonna Come. I
Great
mean,
song,
come
yeah.
on, great keyboards. Really good stuff on the album, and of course the link to New Jersey. We got the burning Hindenburg on the front cover. I mean,
Yeah.
Just crazy,
Yeah.
unbelievable. How do you come out with an album cover like that? I mean,
Yeah.
that had to blow people away just
Yeah.
seeing that, 69, late 60s. You're like, now this is interesting. Here's the Hindenburg on fire, What's
Yep.
this all about?
Yeah, definitely
You know?
wild. Definitely wild, man. Mike D, what you got on Led Zeppelin 1?
Great album, man. I had this number one, and this was between this and Physical Graffiti was kind of tough for me, but this one, I mean, probably Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You might be one of my favorite tracks by them. And I gotta say, I Can't Quit You, Baby is just awesome. That's done great. And then you have Your Time Is Gonna Come, which is another favorite one of mine. This is, your good times, bad times, Dazed and Confused. I mean, for me, this is the album.
Yep. Yeah, for me, this is a great record. I mean, probably top 5, top 3 as far as greatest debut records. It's definitely up there. Every song's good. Dazed and Confused, what a fucking great song that is. Like, you get totally caught in the vibe. It brings you right in.
Yeah.
Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. The fucking vocals are sick on that. The feeling of it. Good Times, Bad Times. I still love that song. I think that's such a fun song, So we're going to move on to number 1. And number 1, Physical Graffiti. What do you got, Mutt?
Kashmir. The only reason why to
Greatest
live.
song ever they made. Right?
I agree. That is the song. That was cut school, make Elio's pizza, watch I Dream of Jeannie, and listen to Physical Graffiti.
Sounds like a
Kashmir
perfect
Friend.
day.
I'm coming over. That
was
sounds like a
nothing
good time.
I'm telling you, man. I remember old school Elio's. It was a bigger
Yep.
pieces and everything. That was that cat. Oh man, that was it. That was the reason for that album for me. I was like, oh my god. Now, I mean, there's a lot of other things on there, but that just song, that vibe. I had to write my own song called "Led Home" over that song, just because. And it's the same. It's exactly the same, but completely different. You know what I mean? It's definitely, you'll know where I got the idea from. But that song, that whole feeling of that song, I never really knew about the Middle East. I never knew about Kashmir. I never knew about and it was just like, but now look, I mean, I'm freaking all this shit that's my whole room is that now, the Bedouin, paradise, all because of that song.
Yep.
And when I first heard it,
it.
I thought he was
Play it.
singing about a sweater. But he really likes sweaters, this guy. Kashmir.
That fucking Robert Plant, the sharp dresser.
Yeah.
Damo, what you got?
Yeah, there's there's a reason why a lot of people rank this as like the the greatest or one of the greatest albums that they did. I had it ranked at number 2, but there's Custard Pie. I love the Rover, but I mean, as played out as it is, you always hear on the radio. I never get sick of hearing Kashmir. I mean, I can listen to that. Like I never change a station when it's on. It's just like, so epic. I mean, a lot of cool shit going on. That simple drum groove, man. It's just that's all I need.
Yep. I don't even need to hear the vocals. I hear that did it. I'm like, I'm sucked in already.
You know what? It's like it's very hypnotic. Like everything going on in that song. It's
Keyboards are awesome.
Scott, he loves the P. Diddy version of it.
From the Godzilla soundtrack. Awful, right? Oh.
He's got the T-shirt.
No, I do have the cassette though.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. I better watch my back at practice.
Yeah, you're in trouble now.
I got a lot of broken sticks with your name on them.
Yeah, I know.
Mike D, what do you got on Physical Graffiti?
Yeah, this is a tough one between this one and the last one, like I said, but I mean, because I like everything down to this one. Probably Sick Again's probably the worst song for me on this, but I'm not going to talk about Kashmir.
Oh, you don't like it?
But no, great song. I mean, I'm going to say like my standout from this was probably In My Time to Die.
It's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Great song.
Yeah. Kind of dig the Wonton song too. That's fun.
The Wonton song's great. Yeah.
The soup for you. Special soup.
Fucking Chinese make a great wonton.
They go,
So
"What's
good they
the-"
wrote a song. Yeah.
Yeah, so good we wrote a song about it.
Scott, what you got?
Great album. I mean, double album. Probably it's the only double studio album they got. Wonton song, great. In the Light,
Yeah.
awesome
Oh,
song.
yes.
Awesome song. Sick Again and Down by the Seaside.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Oh,
That's that's one that hardly ever gets played, and it's just it's another one of them that songs that cross genres. You know what I mean? It's not a rock and roll song, but it is. You know, it's just odd. It's so cool. It grooves. But great album.
Isn't it cool to have a drummer that can speak coherently at times? Because I mean, my mind is mush. I'm like a vegetable. So it's great having him along.
That's what I said. Scott has a
Almost
brain.
dropped it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a student of the game.
That
Yeah.
he is.
This album's it ranked a little lower than I thought it was going to rank for me, but it's great. I think if you take off like 3 songs, it would be an incredible top to bottom record. There's like 2 or 3 songs that are just, and I'll say Midland for it, like it's mid-level, but you're comparing it to the other Zeppelin shit. I mean, you know, it's hard. You know, the bars here, you know.
You don't like the Boogie with Sue and Black Country one.
Yeah, I'll pass with them too. Them two I could pass on.
I actually kind of like them. I don't know
for some
why,
reason,
but
do nothing for me.
I shouldn't like those two, but it works for me.
But to me,
Yeah,
this
you
album,
kill
when
it.
I think of this album, I think of 2 things: the album cover and Cashmere. They're the 2 things I think of when I think about this album. So there you have it, guys. Physical Graffiti. If I could say it, Physical Graffiti comes at number 1. I got
Didn't that have
mush mouth all
some
night.
kind of? Didn't they have some kind of weird thing on the album cover that it did too, like spinning or something like that?
It
the
opened up. There
windows
was
or
like
something?
something with the fucking picture. It does come out, right?
Right.
I've been to that original location many times. It's
St.
in,
Mark Street.
Does it
Yeah,
still look
around
the
St.
same? I mean,
Mark's.
is it still
Oh, yeah,
kind of
yeah.
yeah?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Last time I always take
Except
a
there's a
picture.
floor missing. There's a floor. Well, if you go there live, there's an actual extra floor because in the building there's only 3 floors, but in real life there's 4 floors. They edited the full one of the floors out for the album.
Huh, that's crazy.
Isn't
Made it
that
more
the
of a-
spot where
more
the
of a
Stones
square.
did the Stones did the Waiting for a Friend video there? I
Yeah.
think too on those.
Oh, where they
steps.
were sitting on the step?
Really?
Yeah.
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 Wow.
That
And
was the
there's a
gayest
place-
video
there's-
ever.
there's-
It was horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They looked
Brutal,
like
man.
cooked out of their fucking mind sitting on the
Early
fucking step.
'80s. Yeah.
It
I
was-
actually like
yeah,
that.
I mean, it was a prime of like MTV. It was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, we could shot that in 2 minutes outside. The guy only knows what they paid for it, you know.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And oddly enough, there's a head shop in there called Physical Graffiti.
Oh, really?
Oh, is there?
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
down on the,
There he
down
goes
on the
again.
lower floor.
Huh?
He
Huh?
knows the facts,
Yeah.
man. He knows the facts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
before we wrap up here, guys, I'm gonna go over a couple things. First thing is
I crush your head.
we're gonna here you go. We're gonna ask you 3 questions. 2 questions are just for you 2 guys because we answered them before, and then the last one we'll all get in on. So I'm gonna go to Scott first on this one. If somebody played you in a movie, who would it be?
Oh God. Oh,
Not who
That's
you
great.
not who
I
you
don't
want
even
it to
know.
be. Who would it be?
yeah, right. No, I don't even know, man. That's a hard one.
That's a tough
is
one on the
easy.
spot.
That is a tough one.
This is easy.
I went with Scott first. I
No.
figured you needed time to think. So I went with
I
Scott
know
first.
my mind gets
Yeah,
rushed.
you gotta give me a little bit of time on that.
All right, we're gonna
That's
go
a good
back to
one, man.
Scott. How about you, Mutt?
Fred Flintstone. Obviously. No fucking brainer.
Oh. Here-
Oh, what an idiot.
wow. Wow.
I had I
I
think I picked Lou Diamond Phillips.
You
circa
did. You kind of look like Lou
1990
Diamond Phillips.
for
Yeah.
me.
That's a hard question, man. I don't even know.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Lou Diamond
I'm
Phillips.
trying to think.
Yo,
For you.
you know, Don Ho could play you, Scott.
Don Ho.
Brandon Lee.
Tiny bubbles.
Hey,
in the
listen,
wine.
since this is his 28th anniversary of his death, Brandon Lee.
Scott's going
There
with
you go.
Brandon Lee.
Brandon
right.
Lee.
All right. So okay, since you mentioned the cartoon thing, you know, we'll take turns on this one. I want to go with Mutt first. Flintstones or the Jetsons?
The Jetsons?
or Flintstones?
What's better? What did you just say?
What do you
I'm
prefer?
sorry.
What do you prefer, the
Oh,
Flintstones? or the Jetsons?
Flintstones. I did like the Jetsons there because they came to me. They came around after the Flintstones was something kind of cool, and Judy was hot, you know. But the Flintstones were all just they were better for it was Hanna-Barbera, right?
Yeah.
For them, that was their to me that was like their best cartoon, the Flintstones. Even though they had the Wacky Racers, right? Weren't they a part of that?
I don't
Yeah.
think they were.
Yeah.
Were they?
I don't remember it.
I know
Yeah.
Kazoo was on the Wacky Race.
The
Yeah,
Great
Wacky
Kazoo. I
Racers,
remember the Great Kazoo.
Yeah.
Wow. Mike D.
Kazoo, what's Kazoo?
The Great Kazoo, the green guy, right? The little green alien guy.
I think he was on the later ones with the.
He was in the later ones.
Flintstones.
He used to call him Dum Dum or whatever.
Dum
he used to
Dum.
call him. Dum Dum. Mike D. Flintstones or Jetsons?
I love them both, but I think the Flintstones edges it out. They even did cigarette commercials back in the day.
Yes,
so.
they did.
Yeah. Demo.
I love them both, but I was always partial to the Jetsons, and I always wish, and I actually looked this up. It's a real thing. They do make it now. Is remember they would show them like coming out of the shower and they're in like this tube and it kind of dries them off. I was like, that's a fucking great idea. Like if I wish I could come out of the shower. The towel just takes too much time. Just going into a tube with all this, air going up and down and dries you instantly. They do make something like that now.
That's crazy.
So if I ever hit the lottery, it's the first thing I want to buy is the Jetsons dryer tube for humans or whatever.
Well,
I don't know
dude,
what you call
I
it.
think we should have cars that are that way. Like the bank tube.
The cars,
where you
yeah.
just get like
Cars, yeah.
sucked to your destination. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you might be
Yeah.
a little disheveled when you got there, but it'd be a fun ride.
Right. Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah, it can happen, right? Scott, Flintstones or Jetsons?
I would say the Honeymooners.
Pretty much the Flintstones, right? Yeah, that's pretty much
Because
the same thing.
Flintstones were a direct ripoff of the Honeymooners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they said to
Here we go.
Jackie Gleason was asked if he was going to, because he wanted to sue them.
Wow.
And his lawyer said, do you really want to go down in history as the man that, got rid of the Flintstones?
Right.
So he thought twice about it.
I mean,
Yeah,
you're
no
right.
way.
It was definitely a play off that. Absolutely.
No way you
Oh,
can
yeah.
come from my loins.
Yeah.
First thing I do when I get home is punch your mama right in the mouth.
Yeah, it'd probably be the
Straight guy.
Flintstones.
Yeah, I want to go with the
Flintstones.
Flint Bones. Yeah. I like both, but I want to go with the Flintstones. I think it's my favorite cartoon of all time. I think
Oh,
so.
Bugs
And probably
Bunny.
because the Honeymooners thing, because
Bugs
I
Bunny,
love the
Bugs Bunny rules.
He's in there. He's in the
Yeah, it's tough, man. The Looney Tunes, you got Tom and Jerry.
Bugs
Tom and
Bunny
Jerry.
rules.
Dude, Tom and Jerry got better as I got older. When I started understanding a little more of the weird shit that's in there, I'm like, oh, Tom and Jerry is real good now. you know?
Yeah.
But okay,
Yeah,
so I'm sorry.
when you start getting the idea of what they actually meant,
Yeah, that shit was over our head as kids. I mean, you listen, watch
Oh,
that
yeah.
shit now. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. It's like, like I could watch SpongeBob now and I'm like, oh my God, these kids aren't getting half these jokes that
Oh,
are in this
yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
I
so
can't do the
dirty.
SpongeBob.
It's so dirty.
Can't do it.
Yeah. So this thing is called the human body dryer.
You're serious about this?
Yeah,
thing.
it's a real thing. Yeah, and there's something else that they make that you stand on, almost like a scale, and it's like like a fan that goes upwards. You could buy one of them on QVC for $300.
So if you ever, have a particular rider that you could get, you could throw that in the rider. I want one of those
Yeah.
stand-up dryer.
Yeah, I
deals.
want the Valero body dryer for $1,900.
Mutt's
on
going to take
Amazon.
Judy Jetson. They'll towel them off. It'll be all good. We all got our own thing
Yeah,
for
so
the
when I-
rider.
When I had $2,000 to blow, that's what I'm buying. And there's
So
another
now-
one called the Tornado.
I'm picturing, you know what I'm picturing?
Dryer.
I'm picturing one of those like devices where you get in and they throw the air in there and all the money starts flying around.
Yeah. Well, that would be that's the Tornado body dryer. Air dry instead of towel dry.
Dude, you know what's crazy?
Come on. How fucking lazy are we going to get?
Dude, I want one.
Yeah, right.
I want one.
I don't know if I'm going to leave this in the show. I might. I was listening to a podcast today with one of the porn stars on it, and they were saying, well, how do you keep yourself all clean and all that stuff? She's like, I think she ordered on Amazon. There's something, I didn't look it up yet. There's something called the vagina cleaner. It's like a steamer, vagina steamer. I'm like, what? I didn't look it up yet. I should have looked it up.
The vagina steamer
The
from
vagina-
Ronco.
Yeah. Keep those lips fresh and puckered up, or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Dude, the vagina
Do you
steamer.
smell like an old cow? Try that.
We've got something for that.
So
And we have our Dick Iron here too.
Yeah.
Comes with an ointment.
going back to that body dryer thing, they pretty much they gear this towards like people. No lie, there's a photo of a guy with one arm.
You want this body dryer, don't you?
They're for amputees. They're for elderly people. But
Maybe maybe my insurance will cover it. When
damn
we get a
smelly
survey.
towels, laundering them are a thing of the past. That's
Hey,
the
that's-
funny
Smelly
part.
towels.
Nah,
also
man,
gives-
give me the towel. I'm not down with this.
How
thing.
much are they, Dane?
This is the one that I saw that was like around $2,000.
No, there's an old Volkswagen engine out back in the prop. I think I can make it for like $22.99.
There you go.
Yeah, but that thing will never shark fin you. You know, get between the taint. That'll never give you the old shark fin. You know what I mean? The tail between the taint thing. I
Maybe
don't
we
know.
could
Hi,
like
Carmen.
Frankenstein like a fan, like a couple fans. Just Frankenstein into the ceiling in the bathroom and shit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, you might
Like
be
a,
on to
like a
something.
big switch, like in Back to the Future, flick a big switch, you know? House lit, the lights dim in the house. What's he
Right.
doing? Oh, he's toweling off.
Well, dude, when you
Oh,
see
he's
somebody,
using the body dryer.
Oh, you remember the Wheel of Hell? Remember down the shore when the floor dropped out? What was that thing called?
It's sort of like the Gravitron.
Yeah, that was horrible. That's what you need for
Yeah.
like drying off. We get one of them in
Right.
the yard. You get like 30 people dry at one time.
Hey, dude, listen.
Puke, it comes back in your face.
you're talking
dear.
about like the thing that dries you off.
It's not good.
I pop for when I watch something on TV and they show the shower heads that come in different fucking. I'm like, oh, I'll never afford that. The shower heads come in.
Oh, yeah,
different
yeah.
directions. I'm like, wow, they get
Yeah, I
everything
like
at
that.
once. You know,
Uh,
I haven't
funny.
got to that level yet. You know what I mean?
The only bad part about that is probably when you drop the soap and you bend over and the shower head just.
Woo! Yeah, yeah,
Like a fucking anime.
There's a midget for that.
Yeah.
yeah. People are lying. Wait, it's my turn. It's my turn. Crazy. So,
Are you
guys,
done in there yet?
yeah. Shut up, bitch. I'm not finished. You know.
I'm concentrating.
Yeah. Almost there. Yeah.
Focus.
The Hitachi one puts out a great shower fucking. So,
Wait, I'm
guys,
getting the happy ending. Hold on.
yeah, I'm almost there. All right, guys, I got one more question for you, and then I want to hear a little bit more about the band. So, last question is, man, I know we're doing a Zepp show here. Last question is, I'm going to start with Mutt. Led Zeppelin or Black Sabbath?
Oh, Zeppelin.
Mutt, right? No thought.
Yeah,
right,
no, I've
right to
never
Zeppelin.
not ever. Yeah, no, Zeppelin. Being a drummer, that's how it kind of started off the whole thing. I hearing that, yeah.
Mike D.
I'm sticking to my roots. Zeppelin.
Mike D with Zeppelin. That's 2 for Zeppelin. Damo.
Mm. Dude, that actually is pretty tough. I mean,
Stuff.
and I'm not like the biggest Zeppelin guy either, but after this episode now, I'm thinking of all the great songs that they have. There's no denying, man. I think I might have to go Zeppelin
there.
on this. You know?
Damo with Zeppelin. Scott.
Yeah, definitely Zeppelin. So it's just like it again. Put an album on any day of the week. Pick 7 days a week. You got 8 albums. You can, just flip them off every day. Different one.
Wow.
Great
I'm-
stuff.
I'm going to be the spoiler. I'm going to go fucking Sabbath. I'm going the opposite way. It's got to be one, right? There's always one dickhead in the bunch. Okay, so guys,
You'll learn.
we're here with the Flying Circus. You guys are playing the Landis Theater. What's the date?
April 8th.
8th.
April 8th?
And yes, April 8th. Now the tickets will say Saturday, April 8th. But we all know it's Friday, April 8th. Just make sure you check the calendars because April 8th is a Friday and we are playing Friday.
So the date
So-
is correct. The day is not.
The day is wrong.
The day is wrong on the tickets. We,
Wow.
I had somebody brought it up to my attention yesterday and I was like,
Oh
oh, no,
man.
no. So
Wow,
I said,
that's
yes,
tough.
definitely the 8th,
Okay.
Friday. So
So
there
Friday,
is a,
April 8th.
That's a great
Yeah.
venue.
That's
Yeah.
what I was
Your
telling
first
you,
time
Tom,
playing
man.
there?
yeah, it's our
Yeah.
first time.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
Yeah,
All brand new. You know, it's not like a rundown old theater. It's like all brand new and state of the art, and you know, great
Cool.
place to
Just
see a
like
show.
us. Just like us, brand new, state of the art, in great physical condition. Excuse me.
So Scott, where can they get tickets at?
landistheater.com. We had some tickets, but we sold them all. So we don't have any more tickets, but landistheater.com or go to our page on Facebook, any of the band members, and we have ads everywhere. I mean, I went on somebody else's page and mentioned something the other day, and a guy chimed back on my reply and said, oh, by the way, they're playing the Landis April 8th. And I was I had to get a chuckle out of it, but I knew where he was coming from because I've got ads running everywhere.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you can't miss it.
Good. Cool. Very cool. Very cool.
That's
Should
great.
be a
I
fun show.
saw you guys a few times too. I mean, you guys, you know, do it to a T. It's so anybody going is gonna really enjoy it.
Yeah, me and Mike were talking
Appreciate
about before Dame popped on. We were talking about that they do have the vibe. The fucking vibe is there. You know, the vibe is really there, and the vibe's important when you're doing something like that. Takes you back in
It
time a
is.
little bit. You know.
It is. It's kind of like a plate presentation too. You know, I have my little hair hat on and stuff, and it kind of once you start, I use this as a joke, you know, but like, hey, the more you drink, the more we look and sound like
That's
Zeppelin.
right.
But
It's true.
but truthfully, in on our, you know, positive towards us about that. Like I can't do what I do without those three. You know, you always go, if you're singing with other people, sometimes you just can't get that. You just don't get that feeling where I
Yep.
get that feeling with them. And we played these songs now when we haven't, and we're not this way, but you get to a point sometimes where you feel like you wrote the song, you know, like you've done it, not because you've done it so many times, but because you understand the song.
Yeah, you
And there's a lot of
attached.
these
Yeah.
a lot of these songs now that just from that first note we just start playing, and it's just, you know, you can't help but I can't help but not, I don't know, feel it, you know, and just kind of like morph into it. Like I've always had this kind of, I guess we'll call it luck or whatever have you. But like I could be sick as a dog, but I get on stage and it's like somebody takes over. You know, I have a sore throat or my back hurts or whatever. I get up there and it's like, yep, off we go. Right? Start the song, and so yeah, it's pretty wild with these guys. I get the vibe too, you know, and like sometimes I don't never, you know, Scott knows this. There's always someone better than you. I always felt that way. There's always somebody better than you, no matter what the hell you're playing. So you keep that kind of point of view, kind of keeps you humble, kind of keeps you normal. But everybody in the band is more or less that way, and knowing that they're that way, and it's like a good family. It's a confident, and it's easy to slip into that realm, that magic realm of goblins and sorcerers and
Right.
dragons and shit, you know, for that Led Zeppelin. So I'm having a really good time with it. I have to say that, you know, I'll take a couple of shots and a beer or two, and maybe a little something there, you know, kind of the smoke and just the vibe. It's just I automatically just kind of comes over, you know, comes over me. It's a lot of fun. Some nights it's a blast to go along for the ride, you know. Me, just myself, it's just this, and then to see the people out there. I've never seen people smiling so much, which is like they're looking before you see people smiling, but you figure they're drunk and about to pass out. But this time they're smiling, looking at you like kind of like a wow kind of thing, you know, like, and it's all started about right after COVID. Actually, it just kind of all started, just different this totally different feeling from the crowd and from us. It's just kind of, I don't know. I mean, it fell into place a while ago, but I think it really fell into place recently, past year, ever since we got out after this lockdown. It just seemed to, everything seemed to come alive,
Nice.
which is good.
People are happy
Absolutely.
to be out to get out and start doing shit again.
Yeah, you got
That
that little
was-
break.
Out of
And it's like
jail.
taking a vacation from work and going back and be like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm rejuvenated again. You know?
Actually, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yep. All right, guys. So the Landis Theater, Friday, April 8th. Go see the Flying
correct.
Circus. Like to thank Scott Fredericks for
Yep.
coming
Really
on.
good.
Mutt, I can't pronounce your last name, Mutt. I'm sorry. How do you say your last name, Mutt?
I can't say it either.
We're just going to call him Mutt.
None.
Not.
There you go.
Yeah, Mutt works.
All right, guys. We're Mixtapes and Tasty Cakes. Thank you guys for coming on. Go see them April 8th at the Landis, and we'll catch you guys next time. See you later.